What's going on, Halo fans? Luke TheNotable here. Today we'll be talking about sensitivity. Jolly Wolf Out, he's a fan of my channel. He suggested this video yesterday in a comment on my video about accuracy. I want to deliver a ton more videos that come from, fan suggestions. I think those a lot of times become the best videos, and I want to get much faster with that. So please send me your suggestions for videos. I already have a ton that I'm going to go through, but I could always use more. So I already said that I uploaded a video on accuracy yesterday. Don't watch that one yet though. This one is more important. This is the first video you want to watch before you go watch a video on accuracy. Sensitivity, and a good sensitivity leads to high accuracy. Sensitivity is the most important because it determines how fast or how slow you look around. And a lot of times, a good sensitivity is different for every single player. Just for example, most pros play on 3 to 6, I play on 4, and I know some people that play on 10, some people play on 1. Different people do different things with different sensitivities, and if you're on the wrong one, then you're going to see a drastic decrease in accuracy no matter what kind of tips or tricks you follow. So that begs the question, how do you assess if your sensitivity is appropriate for you? My answer to this question is you need to go into theater, you need to watch your games, and if you can watch more than one, that's perfect. Now if you've noticed in the background you're seeing some gameplay that's a little bit weird, this was something where in the first half of the game I started to play with 1 sensitivity and all of the accelerations put all the way down, and then as the game progressed and as I got to 25 kills, I put the sensitivity all the way up to 10 and my acceleration all the way up. And I'll show you the extremes of both ends and what do you want to look for if your sensitivity is too low or too high. If your sensitivity is too low, one thing you'll feel that the game that is moving very slowly. You'll feel as if you don't walk as fast, that you don't jump as high. A low sensitivity can really impact how the game feels in your hands. If you're watching your theater gameplay, it'll look like a lot of enemies come from behind you, a lot of enemies end up surprising you, and you end up not being able to turn and fight enemies before they get 1 or 2 shots on you. If your sensitivity is too high, the game may feel a little bit fast, your hands might feel a little slippery, even if your hands are completely dry, and that's because you don't really have good control of your sensitivity. It's moving a little bit too fast. While you're watching your theater gameplay, you should notice if your sensitivity is too high that you're missing a ton of shots and your reticle is going all over the screen, all over the place, and you're hitting a lot of shots that just fly off into the distance because you don't have the correct sensitivity for your muscle memory to aim at a person correct. Now it is possible to learn a sensitivity and be good with any sensitivity if you have enough practice, but a lot of times there's a reason that certain people play on certain sensitivities. I play on 4 for a reason. It's not just because I like the number. I actually used to be a player that played on 10 sensitivity because I liked the way it felt. I liked the way it made the game feel really, really fast. The problem was when I got into high-level game types like Slayer, Arena, and high-level ranked matches, it was very hard for me to keep up with everyone else because I was moving so fast. I said before that pros play from 3 to 6, and in general, you want to play in that as well. It's just fast enough to allow you to move around the map very quickly. It won't make the game feel slow. It's just fast enough so you can move around the map and look around the map, and it won't feel slow like with lower sensitivities, but it's not so high that you're missing tons of shots because you're moving too fast. I talked about this earlier, but sensitivity is something that you kind of forget if you're not playing. So the first game you come back, if you haven't played in maybe a day or even 2 days, that's the best time to change your sensitivity. So if you're normally a player that plays on like 2, the best time to make the switch to 4 or even up to 6 is the first time you come back to play after a long break. Your brain kind of forgets all the muscle memory that deals with the intricacies of sensitivity. Now some people do get sick when playing FPSs because their sensitivity is moving too fast. If that happens to you, just stop playing or slow down your sensitivity and let your eyes rest for a while. If you have an erection lasting longer than 4 hours, call your doctor. Now let's talk a little bit about aim acceleration and your inner and outer dead zones. These are new settings that 343 gave to us with the cartographer's gift in December. Most people like to leave these at default, and there's nothing wrong with that. These will give you fine-tuned adjustments to your aim, but you should still listen to what I have to say. I prefer a lower aim acceleration because it gives me a more uniform sensitivity. I don't feel that as soon as I touch my stick, I start flying in one of the other directions, because aim acceleration basically changes how fast your stick gets to top speed. 343 has stated that 2 aim acceleration was the aim acceleration that was set in the beta back when you couldn't change it. because I tore things up in the beta and I was semi-pro, pretty high in it as well, pretty close to getting pro, I decided to go to aim acceleration. In general though, it's all personal preference. If you do play with a lower sensitivity, it can be helpful to have a higher aim acceleration, because with that low sensitivity you have a very slow look speed. With aim acceleration all the way up, it's going to be very easy for you to turn pretty quickly. If you have an aim acceleration at 1 and a sensitivity at 1, it's going to be pretty hard for you to look around and get people that are coming up behind you. So now I want to talk about dead zones, and dead zones are weird, okay? There are 15 basically values that you can put in for a dead zone. A lot of people are saying different things, but you really should only be on one of two settings. Extremely high, meaning 15% or 12%, and extremely low, meaning 0%. Anything in the middle doesn't really do much for you. If you're using an old controller, ones that have kind of, oh, I'm not even showing my controller. If you're using an old controller, ones that have, you know, shabby sticks, sticks that aren't as good as they used to be, this one's 2 years old, you might want to use a dead zone that is a little bit higher. And that's because when your stick moves and you're using an old controller, the stick isn't responsive. Sometimes it drifts off to the left or right, and dead zones help prevent that when they're really high. I use 0% dead zones because I have a controller. This isn't actually it, it's my Master Chief controller, but it's green and I don't think that it'll show up in the green. We'll see. I haven't put in the green screen yet. I don't know if that'll show up. I would show it, but I'm using that and it's a very brand new controller, and so that means the sticks are brand new. They're not going to be drifting off anywhere. I can use 0% dead zones and I feel like I get a much more uniform sensitivity when I do that. In general though, dead zones really don't matter for accuracy. It's mostly your sensitivity rating and your aim acceleration. So I hope this video kind of sheds some light on the confusing aspects of sensitivity. I know I've always been someone that's played on 4, and that's just been always what I've done, but I don't know, you know, that all my fans have known exactly what to be on, how to assess if they're using their sensitivity correctly, stuff like that. Now that you're all good on sensitivity and you've learned what you need, go and watch my video on accuracy. It will show you how to get a more consistent shot and how to train your brain to get that consistent shot. One more thing, go to the comments and comment your video ideas for me if you have any suggestions, anything you want to get my personal opinion on, or if you want me to do some tips on certain things or certain aspects of the game, go down in the comments and do those for me. I'm going to start doing those a lot more very rapid fire. Friend me on Xbox Live at TheNotable, and bye bye guys.